Good afternoon, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I bring you a bit of a different video. It's more a personal video, so I'm not sure exactly what direction I'm going to go in with this video, but today my house came down. It was set for demolish today, and it had been a plan that I had been working for a few years now, and finally today was the day the house was demoed, and we went and watched as the house was, it was actually my father's house was actually demolished, which was pretty interesting, and took about 3 hours from start to finish, and now we will be building on that lot. So now we're into a new chapter of our lives, new building, new experiences, new excitement. But I couldn't help but think back on all the chronic illness and the whole journey. And I couldn't help but think, how much time I had lost and all the things, and the memories that were going with this house. And a lot of people thought like, oh, you must be really emotional today. But I actually wasn't that emotional, which is funny because, I'm very used to feeling my emotions and my feelings. But today I let myself do something new. I let myself feel excitement for the future, which is something that I don't generally do. Usually when I have these moments, I start to pre-worry about the next thing or pre-plan the next thing. So I don't know if any of you do this, but I would start to, okay, well, what comes next? Now the foundation has to be poured, and what are we going to do with the colors for the house and this and that? And you can start to go on your to-do list very, very quickly and not stop to be present in the actual moment. But today, even though my mind tried to go forward and say, okay, what's next? What are the next steps? There's lots going on. I tried to sit back and say, okay, today's a moment. I'm going to take in this moment. I'm going to be present with the moment. I'm going to watch the moment. I'm going to feel the moment. And I'm not going to let myself jump ahead into the future and start the next thing. Because when you have chronic illness, you're very busy. You intend to be busy. You intend to distract yourself. You intend to not feel pain or suffering or illness or emotions or sadness or guilt or grief or any of that. But today I said I'm going to let myself feel all this as the house is coming down, and funny enough, nothing came. I didn't cry. There was no emotional release. I thought there might be a big emotional release. And that's the point maybe of this video. Sometimes I can cry at the drop of a hat. I can say a sentence that can bring me weeping to tears. And other times on big moments like this, when you expect maybe a big emotional release or a big, emotional reflection, or you're ready, it doesn't come. In the big moments, it doesn't come. Sometimes it's similar. After my mother died, that big grief moment, it didn't come. It didn't come right away. And sometimes that's how chronic illness works. These big moments that we think, or these big stressful days, these big unplanned things, and we think, why aren't my symptoms raging today? And then on a day when everything seems calm or perfect, or you've been, eating really well, doing really well, thinking good thoughts, and your symptoms are raging. And that's the thing about chronic illness, and that's the thing about life and emotions in general. They don't always reflect what's happening. So they don't always reflect the big moments. They always reflect, like something's going on in your life. So then here are these emotions, they come to the forefront, and then, you experience them in your body, right? And so it can start to not make sense to us. Like, well, it doesn't make sense. Yesterday was, a very emotional day or a lot going on, and my symptoms were fine. And today is a very calm day, and I've had enough rest, and I seem to be at peace, yet my symptoms are raging, right? And that can throw us off. It can throw us off track thinking, none of this makes sense, I might as well just give up, and then wallow into victimhood. So, yeah, as I was saying, so today for me was a big moment, a big milestone, right? Something that I had been working for, planning for, a lot of effort, a lot of emotion, pent-up action, and to-do list has gone into this. And there's a lot of history. My mom lived in the house. She's no longer with us. It was coming down. We're moving forward. You know, all the years of chronic illness and thinking back and those moments mixed with the happy moments and all of that, watching it come down, you would have thought I would have some sort of an unemotional reaction. Yet, sometimes I find that our bodies hold it together in these big moments. It's not that it's not safe to release in those moments, but they know that they have a job to do. There's a job to do. The house is coming down, or there's a job to do. All these events are happening in the day, so I'm not going to flood you with this today, right? But then later, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the calm, in the peace, you know, in those little moments, sometimes, sorry, my video cut out. Anyways, sometimes it doesn't make sense in the quiet calmness, or the times that we think we're okay and that everything's okay, is when our body feels the safest. And when it feels the safest, now it's time that it can feel, that it can reflect, and that it can release. So it's never going to, sometimes it hits you because you're overwhelmed in those big moments, but in the quiet times when it feels safe, often doesn't make sense that we feel the worst, or that now when you're finally having a good day or something good is going on, you start to cry, or you have this emotional release, or you have symptoms or something. You know, it doesn't make sense. But it does make sense because your body, when it feels the safest, it's looking for that feeling. Now, you know, like, I don't know if you can think back to even a time when you're a child and, you know, you might, or even an adult, but you might go into your mother's arms, you know, you're having a bad day, you're feeling frustrated, maybe you cry a little bit, you're angry, whatever. And then finally you feel like your mom takes you in her arms and you just like let it all out. You feel safe and you just like let it go, right? You feel safe to let yourself feel. And this is how healing works. So the fact that I didn't have an emotional response today, or release, or any kind of nothing noteworthy that really came up for me today, which I thought was odd. I suspect in the coming days, I might have a huge realization or a huge emotional release. Or, you know, now that it's safe and now that everything's over and it's behind me, my body will then feel safe to feel and get some perspective on what I've gone through and what's happened, and who knows. But the whole point of this video is just to share a little bit about what's going on in my life personally, but also to remind you that healing often doesn't make sense. It often doesn't reflect, and it often doesn't go hand in hand into exactly what's happening at the moment. And our bodies are quite clever, and they wait until the perfect time, the time when they feel like you can handle these emotions now. You know, like when it's after your kids go to bed and you just fall apart in your husband's arms, or maybe it's, you know, whatever it is. Sometimes we need quiet, we need calm, we need safety, we need behind closed doors, we need these moments where we're alone, we're safe to be ourselves, we're safe to feel, and we're safe to open into it, right? Because a lot of times we stay closed, we stay guarded, we stay with face masks, right? We're wearing masks, we're being a certain way, we're presenting a certain way to the world, we are active, we're doing our to-do lists, we're constantly in motion, we're constantly active, right? We're constantly distracting. And our body, when we finally, you know, give it over, that's why when someone can say one thing to you and suddenly your emotions start to rise, right? You can feel the tears, you can feel the anger, and it rises. And so when you expect to feel and you don't, or when you are not expecting to feel and you do, just be present with yourself, be present with your body, let your body know this is okay. Okay, someone just died, or okay, a big moment just happened and I don't have a reaction. You're okay. I love you. You're safe. You're safe to feel whenever you want. I will be here. Or, you know, wow, that was a pretty little thing and you're having a total meltdown. You're safe. I love you. It's okay. You know, it's not ridiculous. There's a deeper reason underneath. You don't have to feel bad or guilty for having this overreaction. It's not an overreaction. It's a response to something that's been buried or deeper or that needs to be felt. And I'm going to allow myself this emotion and allow myself to feel it. So whatever happens, whether it's an underreaction or an overreaction, we have to allow ourselves, the right to react that way or to not react that way. We have to be patient with our bodies, be loving, be accepting, be patient, be kind, and just know that your body will bring it to the surface when it's time, when it feels safe, you know, when it needs to express, when it needs to feel heard, and especially when it needs to feel loved. And it often brings these feelings to the surface when you need comfort or comforting or love the very most and the very deepest. So when these times arise, no matter how inopportune they may be, give yourself the gift of unconditional love, comfort, acceptance, right? To allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to have whatever emotion that you need to feel, and let yourself know that that is okay, right? That is okay. You're safe to feel it, and really sink into that. So I hope this video has been helpful in some way, just to show you how healing doesn't always make sense. And we have to be ready to feel in situations where we don't really want to and we don't have time and we're too busy and it's not the right moment. And we have to be willing also to allow ourselves not to feel if we don't want to, if we can't, if we're not ready, if nothing's coming up. We can't force these things, right? We can't force ourselves to feel something if we don't, and we don't want to try to pressure ourselves to stop if we are feeling something. So be kind, be gentle, be accepting. I hope this video has been helpful, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully with some more big insights or more useful information. I know this video hasn't exactly been on point or been as useful as some of the other ones. It was a sort of meandering video, but I hope it's given you something to think about, to reflect on, and to just remind yourself it's okay. Your process is okay. Anything that's happening, just be ready and be willing when it comes to the surface that now is your chance to feel it. Don't miss your chances when they come up. Right? And don't force yourself if it's not the time. You will know when you're ready. You will feel when you're ready. So I hope it's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.